We're back, people, and today we're breaking a film on Tyrel Dodson, Miami Dolphins linebacker. Number 11 right here. It's his first real action on defense for the Dolphins after, came in the game, played 70% of the snaps after Anthony Walker got hurt and made multiple impact plays. I thought he looked really solid, especially in coverage. Like, he looked really, really good, which is kind of what I expected. Want to see more from him from a run defense perspective. It's going to be huge in this next Packers game. But he was matching, playing drop back zone. He got that interception. Did some solid things versus the run, like make that play right there. But really impressed overall what I saw with Dodson. Good first look. I think him and Brooks can be a pretty solid linebacker duo. They got to show off what their potential, what they're capable of in this New England game. Now I want to see it even against better offenses, that type of thing. But yeah, liked what Dodson showed. Excited to see more from them, this duo, with this season, how it plays out. And yeah, overall, quality game. We'll break this down later today. Expect like a Jalen Waddle video and just the full defensive video. But really wanted to get to Dodson because it was his first like actual action for Miami and like the things they asked him to do. Like here, they got him blitzing a couple times. This one, his blitz wasn't super successful. Just like he was occupying space to get Ramsey free, so Ramsey comes in free. He ends up making a super impressive play. Like, look at him come off this play and one hand snag the interception, which basically closed and put the game away. Just having people like, sometimes, you're not in the perfect position for what was asked of you, but you still end up making a play like this because of what Ramsey did on it. Really shows like some ball skills too. Really, really high level stuff. Feels like, these are the plays the Dolphins have kind of missed this year exactly, like the turnovers off of, plays like this, because they'll have impact plays, but that was really, really nice. I feel like Dodson, like, the thing is he made a lot of solid impact plays. Didn't really have any, like, negative ones I noticed on film. Like, he wasn't, like, there was plays where, like, he could have, maybe played it slightly better. Like, there was one missed tackle he had, but still ended up making the tackle, but it was just 5 yards down the field. But other than that, it was just real quality plays versus that in coverage over and over and over again. Okay, we got Dodson right here in coverage. This is towards the end of the game. This is just like exactly what I want to see out of linebackers in coverage. The Dolphins have had problems, I think, when they go pure zone drop, just like literally just covering space and not covering players. He is able to squeeze route concepts. Like here, he gets to his depth, finds the receiver working across, squeezes this long enough, being like, no, I'm going to take away this drag. It's not getting anywhere near the other hook defender with Brooks. I'm going to squeeze this as long as possible. If it's going to be a quick throw, he sees May loading up. But then it goes down to the quick check down. And look at him just make this adjustment. Stick that foot in the ground, change directions, and then close and make the tackle for a limited gain. Like this is how you play, I think, as a zone defender, where you can play top down, take away throwing lanes of one throw, and then get off of it, make the tackle on the next throw. That's exactly what I want to see out of the linebackers in coverage more often. Is squeezing these route concepts and understanding, where the ball is going to go. Because I think they've given up too many easy plays throughout the season to tight ends and stuff like that. Like this play, I feel like this would usually be easy completion. Like this is where May's looking. Like he gets one-on-one with Hunter Henry versus a linebacker. Usually our linebacker, I feel like, would cover space, keep this inside leverage with eyes on QB. But he decides to match it. Like, hey, let's see what 85 is going to do. He's the one really going to threaten me. He gives a little, pivot there, and he just squeezes, takes away that throwing lane. May has to come off of it. He gets pressured, and then it forces a throwaway. So he takes away that first option, pretty much one-on-one matched up. They're playing zone, but he helps take away that initial throw, which then forces some pressure. And on the back end, usually where he might have to stay in the hook, the safety's able to then squeeze on that throw. Just good job with route distribution and coverage, I think, overall, from what I've seen from this group. Here, Dodson makes a nice play versus the run. Usually wouldn't say it's his biggest strength taking on offensive linemen, but he did a pretty good job here, like, holding his gap. I mean, Stevenson made the wrong read. Like, he probably should have hit up here. The safety would have been there to make a tackle, but he tries to cut this back, and Dodson's able to get off of it, dip underneath, and then make the nice tackle on this. And this was like a 1st and 20 run, so keeping, like, 1st and 20 where they, usually you have like a lighter box. They're trying to, pick up a solid gain. Limiting that to like literally 1 yard was really, really nice. Him making impact plays versus the run will be super huge, especially versus Green Bay, because Green Bay's run game design next week, like they have a really good run game. It's going to be huge on the linebackers, especially with how much misdirection, motion, literally like how they manipulate is very, very impressive. Here's Dodson. Dolphins go Tampa 2. They love to go Tampa 2, and sometimes they ask the Mike linebacker to be that Mike linebacker. Sometimes it's a safety, but you got to be able to carry down vertically. Look at him like get out of this, locate the number 2. He finds Demario Douglas, gets back in the middle, and then sees Douglas working vertical. Still opens up his hips, is able to potentially still carry this down the field. It's not like he's in perfect position, but asking a linebacker to carry an explosive wide receiver down the field is not an easy ask. But Dotson's still not in that bad of a spot, so like seeing those plays. Another excellent play where like he's the middle hook guy, and like the other like we got Ramsey playing as a hook. They got Brooks playing as the flat. So like they put Dodson with this concept in a pretty tough spot because Brooks has to go out to 38. So 81, 84, both just kind of sitting in the middle of the field. Dodson is just reading the QB's eyes and kind of leveraging both of these concepts. So like he's in between both. The fact that this gets caught and only limited to like a 3-yard gain is actually, I think, really good. Like being able to limit the yak ability right there is very, very important because you're in a spot where like this could be caught. If this is on time, he transitions upfield, should get at least like 5, 6. But limiting that to 3, I think just like is such a difference, and it goes kind of unnoticed throughout the game. And I think that's kind of what I've noticed with him in coverage. Like even if there's a catch being given up, he's doing a good job limiting that yak, being in the right spot, like in covering multiple routes, has a good understanding of what offenses they're trying to do, the conflicts they're putting him in. That's pretty important. So like here's an example of him gaining depth, opening up his hips, getting back square. Once he kind of feels what's going on, gets to a space, then Douglas tries to cross face. He's there to help take this away, at least initially, and then can pass it off to 21, but then still stay in his lane, and then they get the sack up front. He just has such a good feel, I think, for like the zone stuff. Dodson does, whether he's zone matching or just pure zone read the QB's eyes. Here he doesn't make the tackle, but I feel like he shows a good feel for the play. Like he's reading this, he sees 74 pull, so he starts to work over there, stay square, shuffle. Now he's staying in phase with 38. Like he doesn't want to overcommit. Like he sees this, but he wants to be able to fit the run here pretty nicely, and sees that he's able to get into this gap. Kind of Stevenson goes into Brooks here, but if he cuts this back, I think Dodson's in a good place where like he beats his initial block, fills his gap, and then now gets over and still helps make that tackle. Doesn't get any credit for the tackle, but he's there to help, in the pile basically. So I think he does a good job at least, processing this play, reading the movement of the offensive lineman. That's really where your keys are, and it helps diagnose that stuff. So get down the field. This ends up being a completion and actually a big play to Douglas. But as you can see, they go like in that Tampa 2 type of thing again. He's the Mike, and he just finds the deepest threat over the middle of the field. Booty helps take that away, and then that gets passed off down the field, and then Douglas makes that sick catch. But he's carrying things down the field, making some impact plays. Dodson, I think, showing a better feel for like the flow plays. Like here it's inside zone, like, but it's got split flow, and he sees this tight end kick across. So he is able to work over there. I think he's responsible for 85. Sees him kick out. I just stay square, fill in exactly the gap that Gibson's trying to hit, and he helps, Brooks also makes an excellent play. Jordan Brooks played much better in this game. When Brooks and Dodson are on, that will help the defense out tremendously because, you have some playmakers up front and in the secondary that can, make plays week to week. Here's Dodson blitzing. Gets to come in as a free blitzer. Not getting credit for the sack because Ramsey gets there first, but you can use Dodson as a blitzer. I think he's pretty comfortable doing that type of thing. But even versus wide receivers, like they try to run this over the middle. I feel like sometimes the linebackers will just let these freebies go. Like if you look at this, like sometimes they'll just stay square, read the QB's eyes, and then Douglas would sit here and then find that soft spot and get this. But Dodson's willing to open up his hips, find it, and then get his eyes back to the quarterback once he's matched and squeezed these throwing lanes, making these, quick passes, quick and easy throws much more difficult. And doing this versus wide receivers in this part of the field, I think, is very, very helpful. Will put a lot more strain and thing on the quarterback like that. This is really like the only play I feel like for Dodson. I'm like, oh, it's a one you would count as a negative, but it's still not even that bad. Like they throw the quick RPO to Demario Douglas I saw Demario Douglas make like a DB. He did this exact move to a DB last week and made a miss. So like I'm not really this is such a tough open field tackle. So I'm not surprised that he missed it. But he does actually still recover and get back down there and get credit for the tackle because he tries to make Javon Holland miss, and with all that, Dodson's able to get back there, show nice recovery, effort, hustle, that type of thing. But made impact plays throughout the game. I thought it was a nice debut, a good showing. I want to see more still because this was just one game. He played 70% of the snaps, and most of it was in coverage, which I expected to be good. I think the next week versus the Packers will be the real test when they are running the ball a ton, because that will be somewhere I need to see him, I think, play better, especially from what I saw with his time with Seattle. So if there's the music, comment and subscribe to the shopping.